excited to have a very, very How are you doing? I hope you're keeping well and you're still keeping safe. My name is Marian Nabura. I am the founder and the CEO of Majestic Events, and this is our channel, Majestic Events Kenya. So you're very welcome. And today, I am so excited to have a very, very good friend in the industry, in this events industry, who has turned around this industry completely, has worked for amazing companies, has grown her business, has gone through the journey. I mean, it has been a journey. She's worked for the likes of Google. She's worked for international companies. I mean, oh, you can tell, right? I mean, oh. And ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Shiko.
Thank you.
From Waridi Events. Thank you so much for coming. I'm so excited. Like, you have no idea. I am sitting by greatness. Right
now. So much shaking in my boots.
I know, it's so nice to have you. Can I tell you why?
Yes.
Because we kind of started at the same time.
Yes.
I think it was 2009? 2007. So
you
started
when I was
before me.
In campus. Yeah.
You started before me.
Yes.
But then we cleared event planning school at the same time.
Yes. Yes.
So you went to
Weddings Beautiful at that time. I think now it's
Divine Weddings.
Yeah.
And I went to Samantha's Bridal.
Yes.
And I don't know why. There was some sort of these
Yeah.
guys were not together.
Yes.
And I think one of I don't know who decided to bring us together.
Tasha
Was it?
Vida.
Tasha, thank you,
Yes.
from La Vida Events.
Yeah.
And she brought us together.
Yeah.
And voila. And we were supposed to start an association.
That was called KAWEF.
Yes.
The Kenyan Association of Wedding and Event Planners. Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
And,
yeah.
but clearly God had other plans.
Yes.
And it's been 9-10 years now.
Yes.
And we're closer than ever.
Yes.
So it's really, really an honor and a privilege to have you here. Shiko, you have
Thank
no,
you.
I'm excited.
Me
I'm
too.
so excited.
Yes.
So, yeah, I know some of my subscribers, some people, a lot of people who are startup event planners, don't know who you are.
Okay.
Maybe because of the space that you operate in right now, whereas it has changed, and I know it's changed.
Yes.
So just in short, just give us a short brief about Waridi Events.
Okay. So, as she said, my name is, she calls me Shiko, but everyone in the industry calls me Wanjiku.
I am so sorry.
Yes.
They actually say Wanjiku.
They call me Wanjiku. If you say Shiko, guys will be like, Shiko from Waridi, who is that in you?
Oh, wow.
My name is Wanjiku Kandie. I'm the founder of Waridi Events. And as Marian said, my journey started in 2007 when I was in campus. And I was pursuing actuarial science.
That always gets me.
Yes, everyone, I am a maths geek. I love maths. But anyway, we'll talk about that. We'll come to that much later. I did actuarial, and when I was in my third year, I remember I was starting to do, because when you do actuarial, you have to do papers to qualify as an actuary. And I was about to do my first paper, which was an economics paper. And I was going to the exam room. And I honestly kid you not, it's like I had a voice telling me like, are you sure you really want to do this the rest of your life? And that's actually how I started.
No
So
way.
yes, because I feel I'm a creative at heart. And in as much as, yes, actuarial was good for me and I enjoyed doing it, I just felt there needs to be a space for people like us who love creating. And so what I did at that particular time, I decided a friend of my sister's was getting married and she was having difficulties getting vendors. So I saw that like there was an opportunity at that particular time to create a weddings and events directory, and that's how Waridi actually started. So it was called Waridi Kenya, and ours was a very simple strategy. I remember when I started, it's getting vendors to come on board, and if anyone is getting married in the diaspora or having a wedding or a social event in Kenya, they can get their vendors. So that was the first version of Waridi. So when we started during the days of dial-up internet. We started during the days of internet cafe, like the days of 3310s and Alcatels. That's when we started.
I know.
So I remember walking into the first vendor's office. I can't remember who it was. And they told me, by the way, this idea will never ever work. And I was like, why?
What, the idea of events or
The idea of the directory? And he's like, because people don't have internet. And because you think people will go to the internet and sit down and look for things and they know so and so. But then after that, I was so discouraged because I went to see so many vendors, some of my friends, but I won't remember what they told me. But I remember walking into Valentine Cake House, Matthew, and he was so motivational. Like he was like, sit down, I will hold your hand. So I owe a lot to Matthew from Valentine Cake House because he used to have to I used to have to go give him reports of what I'm doing in the business. Him and Beatrice from Sweet Inspirations were the first people to actually buy advertising, and they kept on telling me, Wanjiku, it's working. So after realizing that the Matthews and the Beatrices were so rare, I just decided, you know what, probably it's not the time to sell advertising space. I started blogging. So as I started writing about the Kenyan events industry, we started getting a lot of inquiries from brides in the diaspora. That's how we landed into the wedding space. So as I was writing the blogs, I happened to come across Sumurioki's school, Weddings Beautiful, and that's actually how I became now a wedding planner. So basically for me, I just wanted to create a space. So I wanted to do the direction, and I realized, oh my God, I can actually be a wedding planner. Then I went to wedding school. And then when I was in wedding school, a friend of mine called me up. They were having an event for their company, and they couldn't get anyone who could understand what their brand was all about and translate that into an event. And that's not how I got into the corporate space. So they called me for a meeting. I went. I was shaking in my boots. I always tell even my students this, I'd never seen a VC, but this was back in the day, like a video conferencing unit. So you can imagine you're going to pitch to the client, and the client is inside the TV. She's in Israel, and they're like, yeah, just pitch to her. So we pitched, we got the job, and that's how we actually got Google as a client. And as they say, the rest is history.
The rest is history.
I describe myself as an eventpreneur because my passion is in creating solutions for our industries. And the solutions could come in so many different forms. They've come in terms of our business Waridi, which offers corporate event management services, particularly for multinationals and international companies. We started the Event Warehouse, which was a subsidiary of Waridi that does a lot of the setups, the brandings, and the actual brick and mortar stuff for our events. And 2 years ago, we started the Events Academy, which is our youngest baby. And what we do is we train people who are interested in getting into the event space and give them skills that they need. Yeah.
Awesome. Yes. I mean, that's great, right? That's just we can end it right there. I mean, that was awesome.
Yes.
So I'm going to just go straight in.
Okay.
Survival stage. I know everyone, when we're starting business, it's all nice and rosy and, but how was the survival stage for you? And survival here meaning that, you were not making profits, expenses were being paid for, but most of the time, you pick into another pocket. Did that happen to you? And if it did, how did it work?
I think it started in the first business because I keep on saying the first 3 years were the real years. And I think for me, those were the survival years. Why? Because no one knows you. All the vendors think that you're not going to pay them, so you don't have like credit terms. Clients are skeptical about who you are. So you find even in terms of getting jobs, it was really, really hard. I think the thing that helped was one, I got into business with my mom and my sister. They were my first very clever investors. They saw potential.
Moms are awesome, aren't they?
So that helped. So what we did is we created a buffer. So the first 3 years, I could lean on them to help me, like at least provide like the basics I needed to operate the business. It was a very lean outfit because it was only me. So I didn't have a lot of the operational expenses you'd have. But the one key thing, immediately I realized that we will not make money from being a directory. I changed. So the one key thing that has helped us even over the years, because as a business, you go through your business cycles, is adapting. And adapting comes from so many different stages. It could be that you are in business right now, like COVID has helped us adapt. And how has it helped us adapt? We've had to review like our operation sizes. We've had to do things like even work from home, let go of our nice offices. we've had to adapt to lean
To
our
the
models.
situation
So I
and to the
think for me,
environment.
it's just that adaptability mentality. Another thing that I think has helped me survive is educating myself.
Wait. So don't slow it down. All right.
Yeah.
So the first 3 years,
Yes.
I just want to go into that a little bit. What kept you going?
I think it's because first I have an undying passion for the industry. As in, and that one
At that point, were you
at
thinking
that point,
industry?
at that point, I had an undying passion for
Wow.
me having events where I could express my creativity. And I knew if I go to an office and get a job, yes, I shall be paid. But what difference am I making? Like for me, I knew I have so much of, like I had that undying passion. And then also, secondly, my faith. Because I feel like you can't separate who you are. You have to be authentic. And for me, what kept me going was a particular set of Bible verses that I still refer to today. And I'm more like, you know what, God, you have my back. And that just whole like crazy belief in yourself. And there's a book, I think we were even talking about it recently, that whole Think and Grow Rich. It's a Napoleon
Hill. Yeah.
It really gave me gems that I was able to sit down and just focus on, you know what, this will pass. If I sit down and I'm so clear about my goals, I will pass through this. So what would be seen as the inconveniences or the struggles, for me, I was using them as a stumbling block. Because I'm like, you know what, I don't have to drive a car. I don't have to do this. I can have a very simple life, live in my mother's house as long as I'm building the dream. And because I had such a huge passion for this, profits are following. Because I was passionate about events, I was really passionate about design. I believe like we were amongst the first people to do themed events, especially corporate events. Because I remember at that time, my client was like, you know, I'm going to everyone, and everyone is giving me balloons that are like our corporate colors. You're asking them what's the theme, and they're just saying drapes and street tie backs, and they're like, that is not a thing. So for me, because I loved events and I used to read about events, my passion is what brought, and that client just opened the door for us. So I feel it's just that innate belief in yourself, belief in God, having like a focus. Because let me tell you, if you get into a space just to make money, man, it will be very heartbreaking because the money won't come immediately, especially when you're a startup. But if you have that undying passion, that is what kept me going.
That's kept you going.
Yeah.
Now, 2010 around, because I met you in 2009,
Yes.
if I'm not wrong. So 2010, you're kind of getting out of the
Weddings.
survival stage,
Yeah.
right? You talked about profits.
Yes.
Now, for me, profits means that you've covered your expenses and you have some. I used to buy shoes. I used to buy shoes.
I never bought shoes.
What did you buy?
I think for me,
What did you buy for you, not for the business?
For me,
during your stability stage where everything, you know, you've paid your people.
Wow.
What did you buy?
Let me tell you, Marion, for us, our game plan was save and start another business.
You didn't buy anything.
Imagine I didn't buy
Yes,
the car.
man,
I did not buy. I'm focused.
She's so focused.
Imagine our game plan has always been save and start. That's actually how we started Event Warehouse, and that's how we started Events Academy.
Oh wow! So
Because,
you're the right student.
For us,
so guys, you need to follow her. She was the saver.
Yes.
But to be honest, one of the things that Chico did for us, as once we got together, I think we now.
Yeah.
After coming together as Weddings Beautiful and Samantha's Bridal, we ended up being 6.
Yes.
And 3.
Yes.
And one of the things that I learned about how to manage petty cash, and you're the one
Cash flow.
You're the one who taught me how to, you know, if you don't like doing accounts, get colorful boxes, colorful paper, psych yourself up, and then do it, and then do your accounts. So you didn't buy anything. Your belief was in saving.
My belief was in, because at that particular point, we used to have this model where we would almost, you get a job and then you split. Like I'd get a commission and like my directors would get bonuses. So what we did is we actually streamlined the business in terms of finances. So people got on payroll, like we just made, so we always used to have a buffer. So we worked on having our what is it called? Our buffer, which is something
She introduced me. She told us how to do buffers, and you're like,
COVID, yes.
buffer.
So we always used to have a buffer. So what we used to do, we used to split our money, and we still do. So there's some that goes into divesting, that's investments that are outside the business. Some goes into, because we're a typing business, so of course you type. Some goes into what we call, we want to call it, what is this, a bonus account. And then the rest goes into an operational account. So that's how we do our money. So at any given point, we are always putting money aside into this different
Do you want to tell them where you got that?
Where did I get that?
It from, was it from a book, or you got it before the book?
I got it
because I want to mention it
first.
Exactly.
Yes, yeah, Profit First, because it's a book that, because he talks about the way you should have different buckets. And as your invoices come in, you split your monies into those different buckets.
So let me tell you, Tasha sent us the book at the same time.
And you guys did.
I am reading mine now.
Yes.
As in,
I read it then. I changed to my accounting. I remember there's a time when I was on maternity, I actually created a model, and the accountant knew. You put the invoice amount, this money goes to this account, this money goes to this. In fact, my mom was like, wow, like you've actually created a whole financial system.
That must be amazing.
Yes.
I mean, because that sorts you out. You have a place, an account for your tithe, an account for your VAT.
And it was all,
your
funny enough, it was all on
expenses.
spreadsheets. So we knew, because I think the one thing that I've seen, especially for event planners, that keeps on tripping us is vendor money, man. When you paid your invoice, you're like,
like all these millions.
I know that.
No, it cannot be. I mean, Sanjeev is telling me 5 minutes.
Wow. So vendor money is sweet. And I'm telling you, that is the number one downfall for a lot of event planners. So that book helped me realize vendor money is not my money. It is not my, what is it called, working capital. I actually have to build those things in. So when an invoice comes in, you split and you pay from the different accounts. Yeah.
So before we wind up this session,
okay,
what would you say got you to that stability stage where you're getting the profits? And was this the time